I was only with my girlfriend for 3 months before I moved back out to Southeast Asia. Most people thought that we were crazy and a bit irresponsible. I would agree with that. A year and a half later, we are still together, stronger than ever, and we did 7 months apart. So this is what I learned and my girlfriend learned having 7 months apart from each other. You can come in now.
Hi.
So I think the best place to start is to go back all the way to the beginning. So I came back from Southeast Asia, traveling after about a year. During that time, I met Naomi when I was back on the Isle of Wight. She was doing placement for her doctorate degree, and I was just coming back from my brother's wedding. I was planning to stay for about 2 months and then go back out to Asia, but because we met each other, I decided to stay longer to build up the relationship and stay and spend more time with her before I went back out. But going back out to Asia was always part of the plan. We had to decide when to leave or how long to leave it before I left. When I said that I had plans to move back out to Asia, how did that make you feel?
I knew that I really liked you and I knew that I wanted to be with you. So it was just a big decision to make about, do I continue this? Do I continue to see you and invest in you? And really it could come to an end and that would actually be really difficult for me and be really sad. Or I continue to see you and you go away and that would also be really difficult and sad. So it was a very interesting time of like in a new relationship and falling in love with one another, but also it being really scary because either way I knew it was inevitable that I would be sad at some point. But either go and I'd be sad or you'd stay and I'd be sad. But doing this like risk analysis in your head of like, what's the cost of this? What's the benefit of this? I liked you so much that I thought even if I'm sad, it would be worth it to be with you.
What was the hardest part of being away from each other for 7 months?
I think that when two people do long distance, if one person goes away and one person stays, they have different experiences. Because for me, I was in my apartment that we'd spent months in together, and I'm now there on my own. And I look at the sofa and I think about all those times that we sat and we would just talk about life, and now I'm sat here on my own. So my world stayed the same. It just now had a big hole in it where Jake had been. Whereas for you, you went in a new place, meeting new people, doing exciting things, and everything in your life changed and was exciting and new. So I think the hardest part for me was existing in my old life, but with your absence.
I agree. My life was changing quite significantly. I changed the environment that I was in, and I was meeting a lot of new people. I was focusing a lot on work as well. So I guess I was more distracted than you, which probably made it a bit easier. But then also at the same time, it was still very difficult because I went from spending a lot of time with you to then none at all. So it was still very hard for me. But I think I just had more things going on compared to you.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we only known each other for 3 months, which is not that long at all, to then do a long distance relationship, I imagine that a lot of people, friends and family were telling you that it was quite a bad idea. What did you do to manage those doubts by other people?
I think the biggest thing for me has just been sure in my decision, and like have 100% conviction in it. So if people ever question me on it, I would just say, I know that this will work out. And I almost think that I kind of took it into existence. I never entertained thoughts that it wouldn't work out or that something would happen. I only ever would think really positively about it. And I think that that's then became the reality. And I also think being very mindful of who I was speaking to and what I was saying, because if I'd have just gone around to everyone that I know and saying, I find this really hard, I'm really worried about it, I don't know if this relationship is going to last, then that would be echoed back to me, that would be reflected back to me. So if I was in conversations with people, I would just be very firm about, yeah, we're doing this, it's going to work. And then at the same time, I think in moments that I was finding it really difficult, and I maybe was having doubts or I was struggling with the distance a little bit, I was just very careful about who I spoke to. So the only person that I would really speak to was my mum. And that's because I know that she's a very safe space, she's very supportive, and she would always have a very positive way of looking at it and say, I know this is hard, but you can do it. So I was very mindful of who I spoke to, rather than maybe speaking to people who would say, yeah, why are you doing this? Or like, of course it was never going to work.
I think when you do long distance, you can't really have that many doubts. Of course, you're going to have doubts, but you have to be pretty certain that this person is the person that's worth doing long distance for. And I think that's where we were both on the same page, is that we got to know each other over a short amount of time, but very quickly and very intensely. And then after that period, we both aligned in the sense of we wanted to make it work. And it wasn't guaranteed that it was going to work, but we were willing to give it a good go. And then we worked very hard during the relationship to make sure that it would work or put it in the best position to succeed, essentially. And I guess on that, in terms of making it successful, what do you think were the things that made it work over that 7-month period?
Good question. I think that relationships are like anything else in life. They take a lot of hard work if you want it to be good, and they take a lot of effort. And I do think that to have a really good relationship, you have to put hard work into it. One of the biggest things for me was around positive assumptions. So it's really easy when your partner is away to just kind of assume the worst. Mind is trying to fill in the blanks that you don't have information for. So let's say, for example, time had passed and I hadn't heard from Jake. I hadn't really had any communication with him or any text messages. Your mind is then trying to fill in the blanks, right? So it's like, well, why hasn't he texted me? Like, what's he doing? Who's he with? And then it's easy to then assume the worst of someone because you're scared, right? It's uncertainty, you don't like it. So for me, every time that I had to make an assumption, I chose to make a positive assumption. So if I hadn't heard from Jake for a long time, I would make the positive assumption that he's with his friends, he's probably having a really good time, and I would make positive assumptions rather than negative assumptions, rather than just letting my thoughts just run away with themselves.
Especially with long distance, that's really important. You're trying your best within the long distance relationship to communicate, be loyal, you're doing everything you can, but then you're being constantly questioned about it. Then that's going to bring a lot of conflict within the relationship. So I think assuming the best is going to be positive for the relationship, because that builds trust as well, because you trust me that I'm doing what I say that I'm doing, and I communicate that with you, and then I trust you more. I trust you more because you trust me.
Yeah. I think my other tip is to put yourself in environments and to make decisions that will protect your relationship. So, for example, I stopped drinking when I met Jake, and that was before Jake went away, but we already knew that Jake was going away, and so that was a big contributing factor in my decision to stop drinking. I was thinking we're going to be apart for a long time, and it really comforted me and reassured me and made me feel very safe knowing that Jake wouldn't be going on like big wild nights out and getting really drunk. It was just one less thing that I had to worry about when we were going through this really difficult period of challenge. So I also made the same decision. I didn't want him to worry about me going out and getting really drunk, not even from a perspective of like cheating or loyalty or anything like that, also just from a perspective of safety. I didn't want him to be on the other side of the world worrying about if I was able to get home okay and if I was looked after. And then I was also just very like thoughtful and considerate about environments that I put myself in.
I would say that if you're in a relationship and you're thinking about doing long distance, I think seriously think about the person that you're going to do long distance with and whether they are the right person for you. And think about, if I'm going to do a year, 6 or 7 months apart, is this person someone I'm willing to do that time for? And I think for us, I had that conversation with myself, and I knew that I wanted to at least give it a go when it came to long distance, because I knew that you would be worth it. So I think having that conversation with yourself and with your partner is really important. Having said that, I think at least try, even if you're maybe a little bit uncertain, give it a go at least, because when you try it for a month, you'll realize very quickly whether it's going to work or not. And if you're both unhappy and you both don't trust each other and you're always arguing, then that's a good indication that it's probably not going to work. So I think give it a go and just make sure that the person that you are going to do long distance with is someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with, or at least you can see them being in your future.
Do you think that long distance relationships have to be hard?
I think it's inevitable that relationships, especially when you're apart, are going to be hard. There are going to be times where you argue and you doubt the relationship, and it's hard to get back to normal because you can't touch each other, you can't be there in person physically for each other. So there are definitely going to be times when it is hard, but those hard times, if you get through them, you prove to one another that you can get through a lot of issues and problems within the relationship, and you're proving to each other how committed you are. And the more problems and challenges that you can get past and you can achieve together, then the more likely the relationship is going to work over the long term. So yes, there are going to be challenges, but if you can get through those, then your relationship is going to be stronger at the end of them. But there are definitely ways that you can make it easier for each other. Communicating, connecting as much as you can when you're apart. I know when we were apart, I sent you some flowers, didn't I? And then I made a video, a montage of videos of us, and I put it on the flowers. And I think little gestures like that really help, because it helps you stay connected when you're so far apart from each other.
If you plan to be with your partner for the rest of your life, there are going to be times that you're apart. There are going to be times when you're not able to kind of co-regulate in the way that you are when you're just together. And there are going to be times when you're not going to be able to communicate as easily as you can normally. Like, you're going to go through so much in your lifetime together. So if you can do long distance quite early on, you both learn a whole new skill set that will then carry you through those times later on in life.
Like, if you can prove that you can do long distance within 4 months of being together, then you save a lot of time that you might waste within the first year of figuring out, can we be apart from one another?
What do you think that the biggest lesson that you learned is?
The biggest lesson that I learned in long distance is that to make it work, you both need to be equally committed. You need to both be in it for the long run and be sure that this is definitely something that you're willing to do. Because the reason why I think our relationship has worked so well is that we both knew the plan and the mission. That I was going to stay in Asia for a certain amount of time, you were going to finish your doctorate, come out here, and we were going to live together. And we had like an end goal. It wasn't going to be long distance forever. It was, we do long distance now, and then at the end, this is the reward. We've said before, it's like rowing a boat. And if both of you stay in the boat and keep rowing and don't get out, then you can make it work and you can keep moving forward. So I think the biggest lesson that I learned is pick someone where you're both in it together. Like, you're a team, you understand what the challenge or the road that you have in front of you is, and just accept that it's not going to be forever. And then at the end of that, there is so much on the other side that will make it worth it. And for us, when you came out here, we were able to travel together, we were able to do a lot of these amazing experiences, and that's all because you trusted me, and then I trusted you as well, and then it eventually paid off. So yes, it will be hard, but at the end, when you finally get to be with each other, it will all be worth it. What would you say is your biggest lesson that you've learned?
Kind of like you said. So you said that, like, I knew what the mission was. That very much became a shared goal for both of us. So obviously it was Jake's goal to be able to live in Southeast Asia and achieve like location freedom, financial freedom. I wasn't in a position where I could do those things because I was studying, but your goal became my goal. Like, I wanted you to achieve that as much as I wanted to achieve my own goals. So I made that part of my mission as well. So it wasn't just that I was supporting Jake in his goals, it became my goal too, to see him succeed. So that made it easier. And then the other thing is around knowing the difference between love and attachment. So attachment comes with a form of wanting to control someone. You are attached to them, so you want them to be with you and you need them to be with you. Whereas love is about relinquishing that control and just wanting that person to be happy, even if it comes at a cost to you. So true, actual, unconditional love is, even if this hurts me, if it helps you, then I'm willing to take that. So that was what I learned. I knew it was going to be hard for me to be in the UK and be on my own. I was writing my thesis in my 1-bedroom apartment, having just dropped Jake off at the airport, and it was really difficult. And I think what truer sign of love is that I'm willing to sacrifice my own happiness for a period just to see you happy. So that's how I knew it was love and not just attachment, because there was no point that I wanted to control you. I wanted you to just do what made you happy.
3 biggest takeaways or lessons if you're going to do long distance relationship is 1, find the right partner to do it with. 2, both be equally as committed to the goal, the long-term goal of finally being with each other, be on board with each other's missions. And then thirdly, positive assumptions.
Yeah. When you love someone, you assume the best of them. You always assume that they have good intentions and that they are acting in a way to preserve your relationship.
Yeah, nice little feature from you.
Thanks for having me.
Like and subscribe.
Thanks for having me on the show today. Like and subscribe to support my boyfriend.
If you subscribe, we get more videos of Naomi.
Yeah, then I'll feature more.
Bye.
Bye.